Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Libra. Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of November 2024. Hope you're well. I'm using a brand new deck, well, new to you, new deck today. It's the Purple Fortuna deck. Never used it on the channel before, but it was signalling quite hard that it wanted to come out and talk to you today. So that's quite cool. It's very beautiful. So, you know, very much of a Venusian character. Anyway, before we begin, if the reading resonates with you and you'd like to go a little bit deeper and explore more of what this month has got for you, then you can do that via the first link in this description box or the second link in the description box. The first link will take you to Vimeo. The second link will take you to my private community, which is the Order of the Phoenix over on the Circle platform. There you can get access to actually all of the extended content for no extra cost beyond the membership fee. So you could watch for your Ascendant or your Moon or whatever you like, and hang out with a truly extraordinary group of people. So if that sounds like it might be of interest to you, you know what to do with the link. Now Libra, let's have a look. Let's see what's going on with you. I've been pulling out some kind of new decks recently. That one there, that blue one that I've just shifted, didn't even know it existed actually. Anyway, let's see what's going on with you. Could I have 3 cards for Libra, please? Well, there's the first one. So, we have the first 2, in fact. So we have the Queen of Elixirs, which is Queen of Cups, and the King together. Very nice. I like that. Tell me about current energy, please, for Libra. What does Libra need to know about their current energy? We have the Strength card, Leo, obviously, in the Major Arcana. Let me put these where you can actually see them, right? There we go. And what's coming towards Libra, please, for the month of November? What's going on with Libra? The only problem with really good card stock is it's actually quite difficult to shuffle the way that I do with it. Now what's going on with Libra for November, please? There we go, got there in the end, and I've got a very high-pitched ringing in my ear right there, which is interesting. We have the Emperor, very nice indeed. Interestingly, Aries and your opposite sign on the zodiac. Now we did have some that fell out over here, and we should probably have a look at what they are. We've got the Page of Pentacles, we've got the Empress, we've got the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. We've got quite a cluster going on there. Now remember that the Empress is the Queen of Queens. So we've got the Queen of Talismans, or the Queen of Pentacles, as she is here. And we've also got the Queen of Cups showing up. I have to say, while I was shuffling, the Queen of Wands was trying to head out, but she didn't. What we've got here is progression. A kind of, and I feel like this is more a reflection of the work that you have done than the work that you are doing or will do in front of you. Right, this process of starting to understand your own personal value and then be committed to the process of seeking true abundance in your life rather than, how could we put it, the mitigation of difficult situations seems to be something that the cards are wanting to kind of speak to and acknowledge and say, like, you know, really well done, Libra. As we know, the South Node has been in your sign, and it's very, very soon it will be leaving, and you can breathe a sigh of relief. It will be moving into Virgo. But it's challenging when the South Node is in your sign, because there's so much that one is trying to balance. Within that, what do we have at the bottom of the deck? We have the Sun. Well, look at all of this fire that's playing out here, but the basis for it looks to me like it is the Queen and King of Cups, right? What we've got there is an emotional balance, but we will get some clarifiers out before we go any further. Pick the deck up, and the 6 of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. So I mean, we've got Leo, we've got Aries, and we've got Leo again with a shadow card at the bottom of the deck. Blow that mess away. So let's get some clarifiers on here and see what this is about. Tell me about the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, please. Oh, there we go. We have the 10 of Cups. All right then. we have the Three of Wands, and one more card for that, please. Thank you. Oh, and we have two, obviously. Oh, interesting. Eight of Wands and the Tower. What about the Strength card, please? Lord, they flew out. We have the Emperor. We have the Ten of Wands and the Six of Wands with the Knight of Swords and the Magician here. I mean, how many cards do you need, Libra, really? But okay, we'll keep them all. And what about the Emperor? Why is this here for Libra, please? Well, we have the Chariot. The Five of Cups in reverse and the Lovers in reverse. Now, that's a very interesting statement, Libra. I'm not going to dig into it too much because I want to go through these cards first, but there seems to be an absolute change of state happening for you here. Now, maybe it is the consolidation of something that's been happening for quite a long time for you anyway. And I said we only have 2 more months of the South Node being in your sign, and then it's going to shift into the sign of Virgo, and all that pressure that you've been feeling, all of that tension, it should, at least theoretically, disperse somewhat. Now, that's not to say that you won't be at the whims and mercies of other astrological transits that might be going on, but that one specifically will be complete. You survived. Congratulations. Well done. This is a real change of state, though, and I really, really like this for you. We'll get there. Right. So let's start over here first. We've got the King and the Queen of Cups, and you know, we could say sometimes that the King of Cups, which is Scorpio energy, represents the pinnacle of the emotional process. But in reality, it is actually both the King and the Queen together, because, as we know, everything has a polarity. And it's necessary for us to achieve a balance. Well, the King can manage it with the active masculine expression of that, but as a balancing force, he needs the passive feminine energy to be there too, right? And it is in the pair of them together, whole and integrated, that we have that huge maturation having occurred. And this, it doesn't feel, because I should say here, you know, with this tower here, it doesn't feel like any of this is a bolt from the blue. Like, as we saw with the cards that I pulled over before and had a look at, those Pentacles cards, it's been a long, slow process to get to where you are. But I think you're feeling very, very solid in terms of how you are particularly responding to groups of people that are outside of you. So this could be family, this could be close friends, your community, even perhaps, you know, clients and people at work, if that would be relevant to you. But something has changed, right? And this thing is a good thing, whatever it is. You know, since we turned over the cards, I've been very much focused on that kind of Venusian edge of Libra, where it's all about making sure that everybody is happy and together, right? And this is why the Lovers is quite significant here as a card for you. You know, drawing people together, keeping the peace at all, you know, at all costs. There we go. I was having trouble trying to find the word there. Trying to keep the peace at all costs. But I think that what you have realised is that in order to make a properly, healthily functional community, group of friends, a collective of people all together, sometimes there must be an element of conflict, because these things do not work themselves out otherwise, right? So we see this Three of Wands on its side, which is indicating to me that there is a degree of changed behaviour that has been adopted by you. You know, perhaps you've made decisions that you never thought that you would make in terms of people that you choose to spend time with and that you would not. It's like, well, no, it's no longer sufficient that you ring me up and demand to meet me for coffee like every fortnight or whatever. I've been sitting back and saying, do I actually get any value from this relationship? And you may well have surprised yourself to find that the answer is no, and actually you'd rather pull out your own teeth than even try and continue this relationship. And so perhaps you have brought to completion a number of relationships that you thought were going to last for a very long time, simply because they are not in alignment with yourself as you understand yourself now. This changed behaviour or shifting around of behaviour, a change in the way that you are actively expressing yourself out in the world through words, through actions, everything. It's shaken a lot of things up. Now, I would like to pull out the Wild Unknown deck at this point, because I'd like some clarifications on this Tower. I feel like the emphasis of the Tower is very much about the way that you've kind of jiggled things around here. But this Eight of Wands that precedes it, often an accelerating force. Seven of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands on its side. I think you're definitely being pulling back because you're seeing the light on an awful lot of situations. Like I said, family, friends, work colleagues, clients, all of these could be covered by this. There's something woefully predictable about the way that everything plays out for you when you stick to a script that you have worked with for years. And I think you are so past tolerating that now because of the work that you've done on yourself. And there's the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck there. Like, you cannot allow this pattern to continue, which means that anybody who, is also part of this repeating pattern actually needs to go. The Knight of Wands is a card of very much being in the moment. But it's also a card of recklessness and thoughtlessness. And I feel, Libra, like a lot of you have judged a situation, and normally that would be a fairly pejorative judged, but it doesn't feel like that because it's you. It feels like you've actually employed a level of discernment that you would not normally bring to bear. So like when we talk about the sign of Libra, it's important to remember that there are two sides to this sign, right? There's the very Venus heavy side, which wants everyone to be happy and wants, this nice smooth relations between everyone. And in its, in its most intense presentation can result in things like people pleasing or, masking how you really feel in order just to, fit in with the people that you're with. The other side of Libra sits at the other side of the balance, as you would expect, right? It's right at the other end of the spectrum for Libra. And it's that rather sharp and cutting, doing what is right energy that we see represented by the Queen of Swords and represented by the Justice card. And although neither of those cards are here, I feel like you have cast judgment not only upon yourself and what you tolerate. I think that's the best way to put it, because I don't actually feel like you are actively judging other people, but you seem to have drawn a line in the sand that says, I'm kind of done with all of this, right? My self-awareness is at such a point now that I cannot tolerate anything that smacks of the old cycle. I've worked too hard to get to where I am, and I'm not going to complacently just allow it to continue. Now, these bolt from the blue energies of the Ace of Swords and the Tower card, supported by this amplifying energy of the Eight of Wands that seems to have been kind of really pushing this to almost like a peak crisis point. And I should point out again that this is something that's occurred in the recent past, so it could be as early as this morning, or as recently as this morning rather, but it could be 6 weeks back from this point. I think that you've surprised yourself with the strength of your resolve to cease this tolerating stance. And as startling as it is, I really do feel like you are following your heart rather than social convention or a history that has seen you spend a long time with a person, right? And that then becoming the basis of the continued relationship, and you're kind of sizing it all up and saying, well, actually, I don't feel like we have anything of value to offer each other anymore. When the history becomes the sole reason that you come together, when nothing new is being sown, and it certainly feels to me that what you've judged about the certain relationships in your environment is that there is nothing new being sown, except the absolute certainty of the repetition of a cycle that you don't want to repeat. I feel like you have no choice but to separate yourself. Now, whether you've done that gently or whether you've done that rather abruptly will be different for each of you, but the way that it has been felt in you, between that energy of the Eight of Wands and the Tower, the Ace of Swords, like, I feel like you've probably felt it very, very strongly. Now, when we move into your current energy, we have the Strength card, that is Leo in the Major Arcana. We have the Emperor, same card over here, that's Aries. Then we have Sagittarius with the Ten of Wands, and Leo again with the Six of Wands. Like, the fire that is coming through here for you is really quite extraordinary. Fire, 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 fire. Everything's on fire, but it's on fire in the best possible way, because there's a creativity that seems to be coming to the surface. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that you're all picking up, paintbrushes and canvases and knocking out beautiful things. Well, if you're an artist, you may have found that your creative abilities have upped a little bit. It's more like creative thinking about situations that you have been in, what you're in now, and actually where you want to go in the future, because this double Emperor energy is very strategic. The Emperor always has a plan. He doesn't do things on the fly. Like I mentioned before, it's your opposite sign on the zodiac. So it's a very Mars energy, right? I mean, it's very action oriented. It's very of fire. And we're seeing it showing up twice here, which means to me that although this feels like it may have been difficult in some ways, you're coping, and you're coping just fine, probably possibly a little bit better than you thought you would, which may be the thing that is kind of causing the issue for you, because you're like, well, I managed to cut this person off without even thinking about it. Like, what does that say about me? Did I not really take this relationship seriously all this time anyway? I mean, there are all sorts of ways in which the mind can spiral off, but actually, because there is so much focus on the action in the now, and certainly in the month of November, I feel like as far as possible, it's actually quite important to just push all of those kind of thoughts to the side, because we've got really strong fire energy right the way through this, and it's bleeding into November too. But then we have Gemini, and Gemini, it's double Gemini energy, kind of fanning the flames of this. This feels like something is building up, and it's a seed that you're planting right now that is going to become more prominent in November for one reason or another, right? So like I said, the Emperor always has a plan. He has a strategy in mind. And you may be finding yourself thinking very strategically at the moment about what you want your future to contain. Because I think the age of complacency, the age of settling, the age of making do that Libra has engaged with for the longest possible time actually is over. Now, for some of you, I need to mention this because I see it. For some of you, there may well have been a very controlling energy around, right, that has made your life very hard. It doesn't have to be an Aries. It could be any sign at all. Where you may have found yourself capitulating to that control that was exercised over you again and again and again. And it doesn't have to be, abject coercive control. It could be emotional manipulation, or it could be disapproval, or it could be any one of a number of things, right? If this is true, then although it has been difficult, what we're seeing is something coming to an end here. We've got a victory, your victory, coming in. But I feel like the focus is much more on where do you go now? When you come to the end of a really significant transit, as you are doing, I'm doing it myself, I'm a Capricorn ascendant, and Pluto is about to finally haul his ass off my ascendant, which is amazing, but he is going to go and sit in my second house, which is probably less amazing. Anyway, the point is, we all want to get to that point where we kind of breathe a sigh of relief. And I would imagine, actually, probably some of this energy has been starting to ebb out already anyway, because we're long past the peak of this this transit, and it's going to be winding down, and we're getting ready to spool up for the South Node going into Virgo. So with this bit of time to breathe that you have had, we find ourselves naturally considering what comes next. Right? What are we going to do next? What are we going to plan? What are we going to initiate? What are we going to control that is ours to do? How are we going to make this happen? How can we make ourselves successful with this new level of knowledge that we've got? And then we've got this double Gemini energy here. Strong, active manifestation, intent, fanning the flames of this strong energy here, and in the Strength card as well, which is very, very resilient and speaks to personal growth. But then we've got the Knight of Swords, who seems to be rushing in to assist the Magician. At least that's how it feels to me right now. So I've got the Strength card. Like, although the energy of Gemini is quite, well, it's mutable air, right? So it's always kind of moving around. It doesn't really stay still, and it moves very, very quickly. I can't help but feel like this Gemini energy is rushing in to assist. Now, there's a way of looking at it to say, perhaps even with that Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck as was, and the Page of Swords that we've got here, that your thought processes are beginning to speed up because you've been chopping away the dead wood. And in the chopping away of the dead wood, you can see much more clearly what you have to deal with. And the Knight of Swords is like let me come help, right? That there are all sorts of things that we can explore, that we can look into in terms of our future direction, that don't need to be of the order of the previous cycle. You've got double strength here, double Leo energy kicking in. If you're a Libra ascendant, what does that make? That would make Virgo your 12th house and Leo your 11th house. Could be that you're feeling much more sociable. I mean, that's only true if you're a Libra ascendant. If you're a Libra sun, Libra moon, that you'd have to look at your own birth chart to see how it applies. But there isn't really any way of looking at double strength, double Emperor, the Magician, Six of Wands, the Chariot. There's no way of looking at this without talking about themes of being brave, putting yourself out there, really saying things with your full chest and standing at your full height. Nobody is messing with you right now, Libra. Not because there aren't people out there who want to mess with you, because there always are, but because you're simply done tolerating it. Like, it's ended. And so the energy is very much like, no, what's next? No, what's next? And it's like in meditation, when you find your mind drifting off and thinking about thinking and whatnot, and you just go, no, and you guide it back to the center. Like, this seems to me to be what you're doing in all areas of your life at the moment. Like, no, I refuse to be distracted. I'm going this way. And so we see it happening in the month of November as the Emperor is moving into that more prominent position. It is not simply about the way that you've grown and the strength that you're exhibiting in holding the space that you're in. It's like, no, I am very much moving forwards here. And this is borne out by the Chariot. I mean, there's a lot of major arcana here, Libra. There's a lot of major arcana. There's a lot of very good minor arcana that's supporting this here as well, but it does seem to suggest that the winds of change are kind of blowing in your direction, and they are asking you to pay attention. Like, what are you going to change? Which direction are you going to go in? And here's what you need to support you. Now, like cardinal signs have had a bit of a rough run anyway, I think. You know, we've had the Aries Libra axis of the nodes. We've had Pluto sat in Capricorn, which is kind of, you know, at least by house, is triggering anything in Aries and Libra and opposing anything in Cancer. Now we've got Mars going into Cancer and opposing Pluto in Capricorn. Like, if you are a cardinal sign, you may well feel a little bit like you've had the shit kicked out of you a little bit. But I get no sense here of you feeling sorry for yourself or being weighed down by events or situations. Are feeling a single-minded focus that I don't think I've seen in you, Libra, for a long time. I certainly can't bring to mind an occasion where I've seen this level of focus before. And discipline with it too, which is very, very strong, right? Discipline, focus, strength, almost something a little bit flinty about you at the moment, Libra. Not in a bad way, just in an absolute refusal to be dragged in to anybody else's nonsense right now. And perhaps it's because you've realised quite how much nonsense you've tolerated over the years. But I like the movement of clarifying card to major card, right? This is stepping up an energy that exists right now, and it's making it something that you are focusing on. Now, we're not quite ready for the implementation phase, right? And we're certainly not looking for the fruition of our efforts right now. We're still very much in the focused, targeted planning stage of something, and that's why the Emperor's here. But the sense that you are in control of every single decision that you are making for yourself, and you seem not to be subject to the same kind of distracting issues that you have been in the past, seems very, very strong. So we have the Chariot down here, which does talk about victory and success and all these things, but because of a dedicated application of self to both the goal setting and the execution of the thing, right? The Chariot card is asking us to have our ducks in a row, as indeed the Emperor is. But ducks in a row in terms of personal alignment, right? All the bits of self going in the same direction. It's here, but it's still very much in the planning phase. We've got the Five of Cups in reverse. And again, this feels like an absolute refusal to engage with a grieving process for something that has been lost, that was not bringing anything really to the table for you. Now, whether that's relationships that you've let go over here, or any other aspect of your life, you know, perhaps you've left your job, or perhaps you've cut out some clients, or, you know, maybe as you've even gone, no, that's enough of your bullshit, to members of your family. Either way, we've got a stabilisation of a very unstable energy when this Five of Cups shows up in reverse, and very much in keeping with what we see with the King and Queen of Cups over here. It's like, no, like nothing is going to knock me off where I am focused on going right now. I've worked too hard to get to where I am, and I want where I'm going too much to be distracted by it. And particularly when it's anything of the old order for you, which like I said, this feeling of kind of flintiness, Libra, is just like, it's a level of boundary setting that I haven't seen from you before. I think I'm accurate in saying that. That's Five of Cups. We have the Hierophant, Taurus energy, very strong. The Ace of Wands. You are so focused, Libra. Now, I don't know if this is on a creative project. It might be. Or whether this is on this kind of changed behaviour kick that you seem to be on. Like we saw suggestions of that over here with the Three of Wands, but we're seeing it again over here with the Ace of Wands. This is totally new. Now, this could represent a change of job, a change of geographic location. It could be a change in the way that you engage with the world, right? It could see you actually even setting up a business or something like that. But you are so resolute, so firm, so strong. I don't think I've ever seen you like this before, Libra. The focus is real. It's very real. I mean, look at all this major arcana energy here. Like, the Lover's card in reverse feels like a withdrawal of consent to be made to feel any way other than what you're doing here, right? You don't want to be drawn into other people's disputes. You don't want to be the oil on the water. You don't want to be the mediating balm. I feel like you're sick of anything that feels like it's pandering to anyone else. And I don't feel you sitting in judgment of those people, but I do feel you sitting in judgment of yourself for having accepted that into your existence at points in the past. And the no that you are issuing here is so firm, is so resolute. You know where your hard work is. And you want to make sure that every single bit of the energy that you have available to you is being deployed in this area. Now, I haven't even mentioned the Sun card particularly, other than it's the card of Leo, right? But for me, the Sun card very much talks about consciousness. It can talk about other things besides. It can talk about, fun and joy and happiness, and children. It does often talk about children too. But the Sun card is numbered 19. Which, when you add it up together, as you do in numerology, it brings you to 10, which then reduces down to 1. I feel like you've worked out how to put yourself first in, finally, a really meaningful way. It's not selfish, it's not to, the detriment of anybody around you, unless those people were relying on you too heavily instead of doing their own work. I feel like you have a plan, and even at this point, if you didn't have a plan, you just know which direction you're going to go in to trip over your plan. Like, this is the stuff of granite, Libra. Like, I don't really know what you're doing, but wow, I am impressed and ever so slightly intimidated, I have to say. Now, everything that you're doing is so conscious and so mindful. There's no opportunity for your subconscious to hijack the situation. Like, all of your ducks are in a row. You are in a state of alignment, which feels fucking amazing. And now you will not be distracted from the matter in hand. No matter how much noise somebody makes or how much they wheedle you. All of the standard ways of getting your attention don't seem to be working anymore. I love this, Libra. I'm all I am here for this all day long. Right, I'm going to go to the extended now, because I want to kind of dig into this and get a bit more detail about what it is that you're actually doing, because you have truly ignited my curiosity, and I want to come and fangirl at the edges of what you're doing. So if you would like to join me over there, you're very welcome to do so. You can do that via the first link in the description box, takes you to Vimeo, or you can come over to Circle, join the community over there. I'd be delighted to see you in either place. If that's not your bag, that's absolutely fine. Your takeaway for this month is you keep doing exactly what it is that you are doing, because this will yield results, and they are big results. So particularly if you are trying to change your life in some sort of really significant way, 100%. If you're not trying to change your life in some sort of meaningful way, simply trying to get some sort of project off the ground or something like that, I think you're going to end up doing it accidentally, because there is so much focused energy going in this direction now. Like I said, I'm going to go get my pom-poms out. Right. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.